Success isn't born from luck, talent, or some invisible force working behind the scenes. It comes from a simple discipline, repeated boldly, consistently, and with absolute commitment. When you understand this, you stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it. Success isn't magic. It's the outcome of simple disciplines repeated day after day, long after the excitement has faded and long before the results appear. Most people overlook this truth because they're searching for something dramatic, some breakthrough moment, some lucky opportunity, some evidence that the universe is finally ready to reward them. But the reality is far less glamorous and far more powerful. Your future is built quietly, in the small choices you make when no one else sees the effort. Every time you decide to wake up on time, every time you choose to stay focused instead of drifting into distraction, every time you push a little harder even when it feels inconvenient, you are shaping a version of yourself capable of extraordinary success. People often underestimate the compounding effect of consistency. One day of discipline changes nothing. 10 days change a little, but months or years of it, that can transform your entire life. The challenge is that these small actions rarely feel significant in the moment. Reading a few pages doesn't change your life today. Saving a little money doesn't make you rich today. Working out for 20 minutes doesn't transform your body today. Yet these tiny, almost invisible steps accumulate until they form a momentum so strong that success becomes unavoidable. You don't need to do something massive. You just need to do something consistently. The real battle isn't against the world. It's against your own impulses. Comfort whispers excuses. Distractions invite you to escape responsibility. Doubt convinces you the effort isn't worth it. But every time you choose discipline over comfort, your identity shifts. You start trusting yourself. You start believing that your actions matter. You start realizing that success isn't about talent or luck. It's about commitment to the process, even when the outcome feels far away. Success follows the people who show up, not the people who wait for inspiration. You become successful by creating a pattern of daily decisions that reflect the person you want to be, not the person you've been. And once you build those habits, once discipline becomes part of your identity instead of a temporary effort, you stop hoping for success and start expecting it. That's the power of small, relentless, daily discipline. Discipline begins long before you take action. It starts with the emotional state you choose to live in. When your energy is low, when your mind is cluttered, when your focus is scattered, even the simplest task feels overwhelming. But when you shift your state, when you elevate your emotions and take control of your inner world, suddenly the actions that once felt impossible become effortless. Your emotions are the engine behind your behavior, and if the engine is weak, the vehicle won't move no matter how hard you press. Once you understand this, you stop trying to force discipline through willpower alone and start creating the emotional power that fuels consistent action. Think back to the moments when you made bold decisions, the kind of choices that changed your life. Those actions didn't come from feeling tired, stressed, or defeated. They came from a moment of clarity, passion, certainty, or determination. That emotional peak gave you access to strength you didn't even know you had. The truth is, you don't need to wait for those states to arrive. You can create them. Change your posture, shift your breathing, adjust your focus, and suddenly your mind responds with a new level of energy. When you direct your emotions, you direct your discipline. People often assume discipline is about fighting themselves, but real discipline is about alignment. When your state matches your goals, taking action becomes natural. When your emotions support your vision, your behavior follows with ease. That's why some days you feel unstoppable, while other days you can barely start. Your state determines the difference. And the moment you recognize that you have the power to shift it intentionally, you become dangerous in the best way. The secret is simple. Manage your state before you manage your tasks. Build the emotion first, then take action. When you feel strong, you perform strong. When you feel focused, you execute with precision. When you feel empowered, discipline isn't something you fight for. It becomes your default. And in that state, success stops feeling distant and begins to feel inevitable, because your actions flow from a place of strength rather than struggle. Discipline becomes unshakable when it's connected to a purpose that's bigger than your comfort, your fears, or the temporary emotions that try to slow you down. Most people struggle with discipline because they're trying to force themselves to do something without a clear reason why. They set goals they don't deeply care about, chase outcomes someone else convinced them they should want, and then wonder why they can't stay consistent. But when your actions are fueled by a purpose that hits you at the level of identity, who you want to become, what you want to create, what you're unwilling to settle for. Discipline stops being a burden and becomes a natural extension of your mission. Purpose is the anchor that keeps you steady when life gets loud. When challenges appear, when obstacles rise, when doubt creeps in, comfort tries to pull you back into old patterns. But purpose cuts through the noise. It reminds you why you started. It reconnects you to the future that's waiting for you if you refuse to quit. And the moment you feel that pull from your future, discipline becomes something you want, not something you force. When you attach your habits to purpose, everything changes. Waking up early isn't a chore. It's a commitment to the strongest version of yourself. Focusing on your goals isn't exhausting. It's honoring your potential. Sacrificing temporary comfort doesn't feel painful. It feels powerful because you're trading it for something permanent. Purpose transforms discipline from a struggle into a source of pride and identity. Most people think they need more motivation when what they really need is a deeper meaning behind their actions. Motivation fades. Excitement wears off. But purpose lasts. It grows. It strengthens you. And when your discipline is tied to purpose, you don't need to constantly restart. You simply continue, even on the difficult days. That kind of consistency builds momentum, and that momentum becomes the force that carries you into success. Success isn't magic. It's purpose expressed through disciplined action. When your daily habits align with the future you're committed to creating, the gap between where you are and where you want to be begins to close. Not through luck, not through chance, but through the steady power of purpose-driven discipline.